Humanities 3052, Colonialism by Meg Tufano. Writing is thinking. To write well is to think clearly. One of the more fascinating things about studying colonialism is that the crazy soup that is stirred up over the few hundred years after Columbus makes his infamous voyage, great thinkers around the world try to figure out how this new global soup should think of itself. In fact, the great thinkers wonder how we human beings should think about one another altogether. Intellectual curiosity was just as intense as the desire for silver and gold, maybe even more intense, since the varying imperial powers fought to control people's freedom, and the varying greedy adventurers sought to control individuals' freedom through slavery. It took a whole lot of thinking by a whole lot of people that eventually led to the best idea and the best sentence in history. Remember, writing is thinking. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That sentence ends one part of colonialism and begins another part, post-colonialism, when we find out how people tried to make that sentence come to life. And that is also where Antioch comes in. Antioch is known for empowering students with the intellectual curiosity to desire to learn so as to sustain good writing, because writing is thinking. And did you know that thinking for oneself is the primary human right? We usually say our primary natural right is the right to free speech, but where does speech come from? From thinking. So, thinking and the origins of writing become not only one of the important areas we're going to study in this course, but they are also how we're going to engage with the material at a school, Antioch, that was founded by Horace Mann on the principle that everyone, even hardworking people, should have the opportunity to think for themselves. The perfect trifecta of learning objectives for this online course. Learning how to think well is a tricky project to teach because, first of all, everyone in this class is coming from a different background and perspective. Some are in a state of panic because they've not been in school for a while. They may not have had the best experience when last they attempted college work. Note the general rule that panic and thinking do not go well together. Some may be near the end of their baccalaureate studies, and so they're ready to get on with their lives. Note that impatience and good thinking do not go well together either. And some may be seriously interested in the subject and already know something about it. A little preparation never hurt in learning to think well. But my goal for all students in this class is to succeed beyond their expectations. So, how I plan to address the tricky part of teaching the history of colonialism to students from such different backgrounds and experiences, while focusing on Antioch's core aim of ensuring that students write and think well, is I plan on allowing each student to experience the course as personally and individually as possible. Each student is going to have the opportunity of having a one-on-one writing conversation with me. This writing will be very short, and may I suggest very honest. Interestingly, honesty and thinking go well together. I will do my best to respond in kind. Be brave. Be honest. Be wrong. Just be sure you've written your honest thoughts so we have a good place to start our dialogue. Second, as soon as you finish watching this introductory video, you can begin the course by filling out the predict section for the entire course to get a feel for what you already have in your mind about what you think the word colonialism or post-colonialism might be about. Again, write out your honest opinion. No one will ever see this because there are extra credit points at the end of the course for what the difference is between what you think now and what you think 7 weeks from now. I suggest sending yourself an email so you can easily find this prediction later. The point of this writing exercise is to find out what you already think about the subject before anyone, including me, tries to teach you anything. Next, get your readings completed for weeks 1 and 2, and then write. Write out 1,250 words. Get them in on time to the VWC. Go out on a limb. You're even allowed to ramble a bit so as to find out what you really think about what you have read. Be brave. Professional writers call this part of learning to think going out on the lake because that's what it feels like. And so you're going out somewhere other than the usual places. In fact, you are. You're going into your own thoughts. Then finally, we're going to engage with the material, watch the video, read the material, whatever's on the agenda. And we're going to ask more questions, this time from the point of view of one of the great thinkers of this period in history. This gives us the opportunity to get to know one of the great thinkers, but also to try out our creative writing skills. What would this person say in this situation? Again, this is creative writing, so the sky's the limit. You may have to do a little bit of research, but it's totally up to you how you want to express yourself in the Great Thinkers Seminar. Of course, we're going to connect with one another through discussions as ourselves at the beginning and end of the course. We're studying some of the most difficult, harebrained, intellectually powerful, and at the same time bizarre and seriously sad times in history. Enjoy a free, full-throated Antioch discussion experience. Last but most important, as I mentioned above, you will write a summary paragraph or two of the difference between what you thought you were going to learn and what you actually learned for extra credit. You can see now that logically, keeping track of what you thought before you entered the module is essential to completing this all-important task of formal academic writing. Unlike the other writing in the week, even though it's just a paragraph or two, the style of writing should be your best writing, which of course means your best thinking. I'll keep up with you as we go along, and you may discuss anything you like with me in your own private discussion area, or you may text or telephone me at my home in Tennessee, 865-438-5986, between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or email me directly anytime through my Antioch EDU email, mtufano@antioch.edu. Obviously, we will also separately be writing an academic essay as we go through the course. The total number of pages students will be writing throughout the entire 7 weeks is approximately 13 pages. As I said at the beginning, my goal is for every student in this class to succeed beyond their expectations. What does success look like? By the end of this course, not only do I hope you have learned the history of colonial actions and reactions, but I also hope you've learned to write better and to think well. See you in class.